G'day viewers. There's news about modding support in Railroader, and it's from Adam, who's one of the developers, and it's entitled Thoughts on Modding Support in Railroader. I'm going to read it for you to improve the access to the information for those who can't or don't go and read it for themselves, and I'll chuck in probably a bit of my own thoughts at the end. So these are Adam's words. Here we go. Railroader has been in early access for just over 18 months. We don't officially support modding in Railroader, but that hasn't stopped a vibrant community from forming around modding. Frankly, we've been amazed by much of what we've seen from the modders. Being such a small team, sometimes it feels hard to keep up. Modding support is on our roadmap as a 1.0 feature, and while we have made some significant progress on it internally, which some of you have found, such as the asset pack system and the in-game definition editor, we haven't been ready to officially support it for one main reason. It's very important to us to be able to build a stable foundation for mod development. In this early access phase, we are still making major changes to Railroader, which is something at odds with a stable foundation. We know how much work goes into modding, and we don't want to break mods if we can avoid it. But at the same time, we can't let those concerns prevent us from making big changes if they are necessary, particularly with our limited resources. We feel a great deal of responsibility to deliver a quality product to the best of our abilities, and some of that comes with an implied responsibility to support it. Sometimes that means we have to decide not to do things. Yet. The unofficial Railroader modders have created a truly impressive work, and while I am certain that many modders feel a strong sense of responsibility to support their work, they are all volunteers, making mods purely for the love of it. They face limits on resources just like we do. Or their circumstances change. The game is updated, mods go stale, authors move on to other interests. There is an innate uncertainty in using mods. This uncertainty was recently brought into focus when the author of one of the mod loaders, Zamu, made the decision to block users in the United States from accessing his modding website for political reasons. The mods run without issue for all users but are not available to download from the US. This has had considerable impact on many of you who use and rely on his software. Many of you have shared your frustration with his actions. We have been called on to both punish and stop him in some way, perhaps by providing his software ourselves. While we understand and empathise with your frustration, we do not control modders, we respect their rights over their mods. We see this as fundamental to the trust relationship we have with our modders. The only area we may exercise control in relation to mods is over the content of the Discord, for example as it relates to intellectual property rights or other content issues. Modding and playing with mods does come with uncertainty. We realise this feels like a big setback to many of you. We have no idea how long or whether it will persist. The future is bright for rolling stock mods, but it is less certain for map modding, which we know is very popular but also very challenging both to implement and support as well as to create. We want to support this, but there are significant challenges to be solved to provide the stable foundation that we want to provide. Time will tell. Thank you again, modders, for your hard work, and of course, players. We appreciate your support. Adam. Well, my thoughts on this one is, yes, modding is uncertain, very much so. And I personally have been in touch with various modders as the game updated in the unstable beta tree last year and earlier this year. And I found that they generally were really, really happy to try and keep their mods up to date with the beta. And those that weren't, well, I just stopped using their stuff because I was running in the beta, so I had to have up-to-date things. And I think if you build too much reliance on mods, which may disappear for any reason, as we saw with Zamu, and I have to say about 80% of my mods are actually reliant on Zamu's Strange Customs, which is the customization mod that makes all the other stuff work, and Railloader, which is also one of his, which makes everything load up and run. Now, there are other loading systems that you could use, but most of the mods are set up to use Zamu's Strange Customs and Railloader. So I get why people would be frustrated at Zamu's decision, but at the same time, it is Zamu's decision. Zamu owns this stuff. So, remember, mods are uncertain. You find that all the time. I've had mods in other games like TSW where one day they work and the next day they don't, and the author's nowhere to be seen because they've gotten interested in something else and they're doing something else. They don't want to support their mod anymore. It's okay. It's fine. You just have to live with it. It's not as though you bought it. Anyway, That's about all we had to say on this one. So I would keep using mods in Railroader. My life in Railroader is actually quite reliant on a large number of mods from quite a large number of people. Actually, I won't go into them all, but there's quite a lot. I've actually done a video on the mods that I use, both in the big map and in the very small beginning railroad. So yeah, if you are using mods, it really is at your own risk. And you need to plan it out. So I guess don't become so dependent on them that they really disrupt your life if they go away. You may need to adjust sometimes and just be a little bit agile and handle any changes that come your way. And for those of you affected by Zamu, I'm in Australia, I'm not affected by him, there's always a VPN. You can pretend to be in some other country, like a civilized one, for example, like Australia. Alrighty, have fun, folks. Enjoy yourselves, and see you later. Bye now.